What are the best cards in the game right now? We like to do weekly recaps of this, specifically when a new card comes out, to see how that new card ranks up. Sort of a last chance to decide if you want to get it, but also see how things have been happening. So in the last week, we've got Gladiator. We're on untapped.gg right now. You can see the stats, and they've got probably what I'd say is one of the more used trackers in game. I think the numbers that they're going to put together, the things that we're going to see from them, are probably going to be our best option. Not a very popular card, at least as far as percentages go. We'll see how it ranks up to some other things as far as once we get to a tier list, which we'll look at in a little bit. We'll also look at win percentages, average cubes, stuff like that. But when I see 2.4, I generally think that's small. Now, we'll get an idea of what the metrics are compared to other cards, because maybe that's high compared to what other popularities are. The win rate percentage, I actually am fairly surprised to see this. At 57.3% win rate, that's actually fairly solid. I was not expecting to see something that good. I just wasn't. The average cubes at 0.5, that's pretty decent. That's pretty good. I mean, I like to try to be a little higher if I'm being selfish, but I think 0.5 is a good spot. So if you're looking at just this, you're going, oh, this is a good card. Now, I don't know if I really firmly believe that. We'll see. And this is based on my experience playing the card. And I will say that if you're somebody who's still thinking about buying it, there's high risk, high reward with this thing. And I'm not even saying, actually, there's not even high reward. I guess 3/7's a high reward. I don't know. But there are a lot of decks. And I did a video specifically about Gladiator. Check that out. But there are so many cards. There's like a third of the cards are going to be able to hurt you if you play Gladiator. That's a lot of cards. It's too high. I think he needs an OTA. Now, we're not here to do that. We're not here to look at variants, even though they're cool. There's some decks here. We're not necessarily here to look at that either. We're here to look at the best cards in general and also in Gladiator. So we've now got the rankings. You can see these tiers are based on average cubes and popularity of each card. Cards are ordered within tiers from best to worst. We've got the last 30 days, because even though we're talking about Gladiator, we want to look at that. Player collection level, we are going to do 3,000 plus. I think that's important. And then player rank, we are going to do 70 to 100. And right now we've got series 4 and 5, because that's what we're focused on. So tier A, still just Miss Marvel. Nobody else. She's there in a league by herself. And I generally agree with that. I think she's a fantastic card. I think all the cards coming out this month, I'm going to continue to try to see if I can pair her up with them. So now let's see. What do we have in tier B? Jeff, I'm surprised. I guess he fell off a little bit. Maybe Miss Marvel's just so high he had to come down, because these first sets with Jeff, Nico, Iron Lad, Eliath, Nebula, Elsa, Werewolf, Zabu, Nold, Mobius, Darkhawk. This whole first row to me definitely feels like a tier A type row. But maybe Miss Marvel is just so much higher than these right now that she's just above them. And I could get that. And Snowguard, X-23, MODOK, High Evolutionary, Doc, and Living Tribunal and Legion is the secondary level of tier B. I generally agree with what I'm seeing here, just from how they play and feeling them. So leading tier C, though, is the man of the hour, man of the week, Gladiator, tier C. So when I look at that, I feel like tier C is not very good. You know, we just looked at those stats from the other page where it was, no, these don't seem too bad. But when you come here and you're thinking tier C, like, that's not very good. Are the rest of these cards really that much better? Yeah. And then we've got Kitty, Thanos, Silk, Man-Thing, Hitmonkey, Mirage, Galactus, Echo, Negasonic, who has been all over the place lately. She's definitely getting a lot more play. How is Howard? Okay. How is I just know, like, take him down now. Correct me in the comments below, but how is Howard in tier C? I don't, whatever. Tier D is just mostly trash, though I think Ravana's much better. I still like her. She's pretty good. Kang, yes, tier D, and then that's all they've got in here. So let's switch it around a little bit. Let's try to make it from 90 to 100 plus and see how things change. We've got tier A, still Miss Marvel, but we add in Jeff. We've still got some Nikos, Iron Lad, Eliath, Elsa. Gladiator comes into tier B. Okay. Wow. Wow. All right. So Gladiator comes up quite a bit here. That's interesting. So as you get to the higher ranked players, you get Gladiator being quite a bit better as far as average cubes, which I think that's generally to be the case with any new card, because a new or higher ranked players are probably more adept to figuring out how good a card is more quickly than I'd say a regular, maybe more casual player. So seeing Gladiator there makes a ton of sense to me. And then again, they've got a lot of the other similar cards. Maybe I think Thanos might have popped up to be Some of these other ones I think were generally in these same areas, but that is interesting that once you get that higher rank. Let's see about just post infinite. Neat. Okay, so Miss Marvel drops off of tier A post infinite. Just Jeff and Nico in tier A, and I am personally a gigantic fan of Nico. I love her. She's one of my most favorite cards in a long time in the game, and it's not just because I did the highlight. I don't think. Maybe it is. I don't know. I like her a lot. Let's see here. In tier B, we've got Miss Marvel coming after Elias. I mean, some of these cards here are obviously some of the best in the game when played properly. And then you've got Elias, and then Miss Marvel, and then Gladiator right after that, ahead of Mobius, the broken card everyone's raging about. Not anymore, but was. And Gladiator is just right in front of that. So, you know what? Maybe Gladiator needs a little bit more love, at least according to untapped.gg. I think that maybe there's some ability here to play this card properly, know when to play it. Maybe I've personally played it in a Gladisaurus deck with Sauron, Zero, so I can go ahead and sometimes Cosmo. And so that way I can make it so Gladiator doesn't do it, and it's a great card, just like your Maximus. And then anyway, the rest of the cards. So it looks like untapped.gg actually has this card ranked pretty well. And you can see some of the best other cards here are the ones we sort of expect. Nico, Jeff, Elsa, Werewolf by Night, Iron Lad, Elias, Miss Marvel, Mobius, Nebula. Loki, not super high. I know a lot of people still rage about Loki, but he's not, you know, he's not way up here in tier A, sticking out in front of everyone else. Personally, I want Jeff to stay up here the whole time. Please never change him. Second dinner. But yeah, I'm a fan of this. Let's see, because a change in Conquest. We're going to stay in the same. Let's look at gold, I guess. All right, we got Jeff, Nico, Elsa, Elias. Is there... Ooh, Gladiator's nowhere to be found. D tier, yikes. So maybe a Gladiator's not so bad on the ladder, but looks like he's maybe not so good in Conquest, at least on the higher levels. You've got your sort of expected cards here. I'm impressed that Elsa still is holding her own. That's good. I'm not surprised of any of these top 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. That's all to be expected a little bit. Silver probably about the same. Miss Marvel pops up a little bit, but you get the idea. Gladiator moves up a little bit. So now, before we get out of here, we're going to go to snap.fan and look at some specific stats. Okay, so in snap.fan, we've got the last 30 days, and we can sort this all sorts of different ways, right? We can do game seen, win percentage, average cubes, win drawn, and win played. One thing I want to look at is how, if he's in Gladiators in a top number of games here. And we'll go ahead and I don't see it. I've got a highlight, so Gladiator will pop out, and he's nowhere to be found. And this is like 30,000. Okay, so we're going to go back to the top here. What about win percentage? We saw 57 point whatever per untapped.gg. Again, everyone's got different rankings, but this one... Okay, he's not in the upper 50s anywhere. I don't see it. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, not in the upper 50s. All right, what about average cubes? We had 0.5 there. Did we get him there? And we'll find him here in a bit, and then we will make sure to see how he ranks up compared to everything else. But I like to see, comparatively speaking, to the top. And right now, we're not getting it. What about win drawn? All right, do we have Gladiator win drawn? We had a 57, not in the 57s. Okay, this is constantly... All right, you're getting... you're annoying me a little bit here, Gladiator. Why is snap.fan's numbers so different than untapped.gg's? Is it because of those specific trackers? Probably. It'd be great if we... Wouldn't it be awesome if we had like a second dinner tracker where we could legitimately see all the numbers? They'll never do that because, you know, then we could have data that we could argue with them about, and I don't... If I were them, I wouldn't want to give that out either, but... Okay, so we're not seeing him here anywhere. All right, so what we're going to do here, let's just find the Gladiator. Let's search by win, draw, and average cubes. Where's he at? There he is. Oh my heavens. Oh my heavens. Yikes. Yikes, 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 yikes. All right, so 8,800 games. You could see, remember when we were looking at those, the top ones were like 100,000, 40,000, 50,000. I think we stopped in the 30,000 range. This one here is not even 10,000 games. That's not a lot. That's pretty bad. What is this first column again? Is it when seen? With that number? Yes, seen percentage. And then win, and then average cubes. So let's find our Gladiator. So the win rate, win in deck is only 50. Oh my gosh, it goes down. It goes, the win rate, is that the... I guess some other ones are like that too, but that feels like a, I don't know. I guess it's not that big of a drop. This is a big drop. When in hand, you know, it goes down a little bit, but when played, holy cow, 47.83% and then a negative cube rate. How many actual negative cube rates do we have in game that, oh my gosh, look at how bad this is. There are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards in the entire game that, according to Snap.fan, have a negative average cube when played. And Gladiator is, I mean, he's the best of the worst, but he's tied with Kingpin. So that gives you an idea, at least according to Snap.fan again. Master Mold, then Shauna, then Mantis, then Agatha, then Rhino, then Baron Mordo, then Leader. So some pretty bad company there as far as how the card goes. So this, I have to say, like, again, we're primarily wondering what the best cards are in game. We'll look at that as well. Gladiators, a little bit differing opinions between the two sites. Let's, like I said at the front end, I think Gladiator is a card that it's a high risk card, not necessarily just a high reward, because 3/7 is, you know, not that great. It'd be cool if it could be like 3/7, and then if it destroys card, gains that power and it becomes like a 3/9 or 3/10, but that could get too big too, and that could get stupid, but maybe it gains too. Whatever, I'm making stuff up. But it's a little bit off. I think I originally said that it needs to be at least a 3/8. They should have left it at that. It's too bad they didn't make it. So best cards, according to Snap.fan, to round this thing out a little bit. Miss Marvel, Punisher, I do not buy that for 1 second. Snap.fan, you're making it so that I'm seriously like, where's this data coming from? I don't buy that for a second. Colossus, no. Oh, ongoing, that's why, because there's a lot of ongoing Spectrum stuff. So I'll back. I'm sorry, Snap.fan. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little excited, a little rowdy with you here. And we've got some good cube rates here, but Colossus, Shocker, Namor, Darkhawk, Sauron. Again, that deck is just always top notch. Misty, Cyclops, Abomination, Hulk. That's a lot of your high Evo deck, so that's obviously still performing pretty well. I'm still pretty comfortable thinking high Evo is the best big bad in the game. Hulk, or I talk about Hulk. Loki, again, a lot of people like Loki. Medusa, there's a lot of C5. I did a video on that the other day. Got me to Infinite in 2 hours. Definitely go check that out if you were struggling. Medusa, Nebula, Collector, APOC. APOC, a little surprised. I'm not seeing a lot of Discord out there. Or discard. And then when played, typically you get your Hela, Eliath, Infinite, Null, Onslaught, and then Hulk, Odin, Spectrum, Miss Marvel, Ultron, Galactus. When played, get a little funky too. It makes sense. It's just, it takes a lot to get to like death. So it's a great card, but you got to do the work to get there. And then average cubes, as far as when drawn, about the same list as Star-Lord's a little bit up there. Let's look at when played. Same concept. All right. So best cards in game. I like to look at when drawn, average cubes. We've got a lot of ongoing. So it seems like the ongoing meta is still there. I mentioned this in some of my videos where Enchantress, Rogue, you want to have those type of things. We're going to have a video coming out pretty soon for Annihilus, which tomorrow, I think, based on when this video is coming out. Check out that video. If you want to hammer down that like button, subscribe. Very much appreciate it. It's the biggest thing you can do. Comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are on Gladiator. Let me know what your thoughts are on what the best cards in the game in your book are. We like to do these weekly recaps just to sort of stay up with the meta. So until next time, we hope you have a wonderful day.